Welcome to the Injection Connection, in-depth discussions with thought leaders and professionals in the polyurethane infrastructure repair industry.
Now, what would you say is maybe the most interesting job that you've been on, or unique or weird, or something that just stands out in your head? With grouting, obviously.
Well, I mean, one that, and I mean, I should have been more prepared for that question, and because I've been on so many projects. But one of the things that struck me is a few years ago, I was at a water treatment plant in New Jersey, and I was in the pipe gallery, and you got to remember the pipe gallery. You have, you know. Tanks on either side of you, possibly tanks above you, all filled with water, none of which are lined, right? They're all just bare concrete. And I'm walking through this because we're there to look at the pipe, right? Because they've got all this corroding pipe, and they're kind of perplexed. Like, these pipes are severely corroding, and we got all these issues. And I'm walking through this huge pipe gallery, like it's huge, it's long and wide, and they're worried about their pipe. And meanwhile, there's water spraying and dripping and coming out of every pipe penetration and cracks, and I'm going, well, I get that it's like a rainforest in there, basically.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Niagara Falls and been behind the falls?
I have. My wife has, but
yeah, you can go behind the falls. It's kind of like that, right? And there's water coming out from everywhere, and I'm like, we can address the corrosion and take it off and repair it and do all that stuff, but you got to fix this leaks. And they looked at me like, well, it's a water treatment plant. I go, yeah, but this doesn't have to happen, right? This is not normal. This is not, just part of the normal day that you just let water spew in and all over the place and expect to have good results. So, I made a recommendation, and actually at that time, I recommended Avanti because I think you were still there at that time.
Yep.
And so, and I think they actually addressed all of that in there. But yeah, it was just how oblivious to it they were. And it was like, it was just, there was so much water coming in. And then there was another situation here in Canada at a plant north of here that, they had another situation where they have a tank on one side and a pipe gallery on the other. Now, in the New Jersey one, the pipe gallery wasn't painted. The walls weren't painted. It was just a concrete room. In this one, they kind of wanted to dress it up and make it, so they kept painting these walls, and every time they'd paint the walls, I mean, all these leaks were happening and the paint would come off, and they must have put like 40 coats of paint on this thing. And then I walked in one day and I said, because the paint was now at this point all peeling, and they're going, yeah, this is always a problem. I go, well, it's not the paint that's the problem. It's the fact that you got all this water coming out all over the place. And they go, well, we've tried to stop, but we don't know how to do it. And so I gave them some instruction on how to do it. They got somebody, and I don't know who, and I don't even know what product they used, and they fixed it. And since and I've talked to them since, and they haven't had any issues since. So, it's just that, like I said, it's the lack of education that there's a fix out there. And let's be honest, it's not rocket science. It's relatively simple fix.